citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. So, yesterday we reviewed Double or Nothing, of course, but also happening at the same time, I'm in Boston, or more specifically Lowell, Massachusetts, which was NXT Battleground. I actually watched this yesterday. Technically today, as I'm recording this on Monday, it's going up on Tuesday. So I'm reviewing NXT Battleground. I got a chance to watch it. As always, I'm not a professional wrestling reviewer or analyst, just a man who enjoys a good time, which I had a pretty good time watching the show. So, apparently it's the first Battleground since 2017. So, of course, Battleground was around for a little bit on the main roster programming. Even had a show in Buffalo, the inaugural one, and it kind of sucked. But here's being brought back in NXT, as NXT often does, like the classic pay-per-views and everything, where they bring back an event, and NXT Battleground is no exception here. So let's get right into it. So, for those of you who've seen these reviews before, you kind of already know how this works. For those of you who haven't, for this event and premium live event / pay-per-view, what have you, I'm gonna go match by match and talk about what I liked and disliked about each. Starting with the opener, as Wesley defended the NXT North American Championship against Tyler Bate and Joe Gacy and actually pick up the win. This was a pretty fun match, which I kind of figured probably would be, well, more so on the part of Wesley and Tyler Bate, who I'm more familiar with than Joe Gacy. Joe Gacy, I've heard mixed stuff about, but Wesley and Tyler Bate, who definitely enjoy watching them in the ring, and just a lot of fun action. Wesley, continuing to put on solid matches as North American champion, and he has definitely been on a roll when it comes to holding the North American Championship. And this match, no exception. We even get a cool spot where Tyler Bate has Joe Gacy in the airplane spin, but then grabs Wesley and puts him in the swing. And the way they went about setting it up was kind of awkward, but once it actually happened, it was kind of cool. Granted, it didn't last for long, but the fact that Tyler Bate was strong enough to be able to do that at all is pretty impressive. Of course, the big, strong boy. But the main story throughout here is Joe Gacy trying to pit Wesley and Tyler Bate against each other. Of course, Wesley and Tyler Bate in storyline are kind of friends, or at least have a healthy mutual respect for one another, and Joe Gacy trying his best to kind of drive a wedge in between them. So we saw that throughout here, Joe Gacy trying to pit them against one another. And also gotta mention, Joe Gacy in traditional wrestling gear, like the trunks and the knee pads and boots and stuff, does look admittedly kind of weird, but what can you do? But so pretty solid match, and Wesley picking up the pin, and Wesley continuing to go. I think Wesley, if he hasn't broken the record for the longest reign as NXT North American Champion, he is closing in, I think. In fact, I'm going to check the wiki here to see if he is the longest reigning just yet. I imagine he might be at this point. If we look at longest reigns, nope. So he has a couple more people to beat, and that's the Velveteen Dream and Carmelo Hayes, which interesting. But I imagine Wesley, they're probably gonna have him hold on to it for a little bit longer, at least to beat out those records, which he will have earned, because he's definitely been putting in the work. But next up was the British Rounds rules match for the NXT Heritage Cup, as Noam Dar took on Dragon Lee. Admittedly, this is my first time actually watching a NXT Heritage Cup match. Of course, the NXT Heritage Cup, kind of a staple of NXT UK. Sadly, didn't really watch much of NXT UK. And sadly, NXT UK not around anymore. It's supposed to be replaced with NXT Europe, which not sure exactly when that's coming, but I imagine hopefully soon. But nevertheless, Noam Dar battling Dragon Lee here, and seeing the round system match, which kind of at least from what I heard, has kind of had mixed reception, and some people like the whole round system format, some people don't. TNA used to do something similar to that with their Grand Championship, and this one I think was okay. Hey, sometimes like the rounds did kind of break up the action a little bit, but other times there were moments that kept it exciting, such as at the end of round 3 when the bell rung, but no Hamdar rung Dragon Lee's bell with a sharp back elbow. Oh, but another thing to keep note of is that Oro Mensah is now aligning himself with Noam Dar alongside Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend, or I think just Jakara. Never mind. So Jakara and Lash Legend are aligning themselves with Noam Dar as well, and kind of helped him win the match, getting the 2 pinfall against Dragon Lee, which they explained the rules and everything going in, but nonetheless, Noam Dar picking up the win and winning and holding on to the NXT Heritage Cup. And they mentioned that this is the first time that it's been defended on American soil, so props to them. And I wonder, will they do a rematch? Dragon Lee did have Nathan Fraser in his corner, but he was ejected after getting into a fight with Oro Mensah. So will they have a rematch? Will the story continue? We'll have to find out and see. But then next up was Ilya Dragunov battling against Dijak. And this was pretty okay match between Dragunov and Dijak, using a lot of weapons. Dragunov even getting busted open on his chin, which was interesting, and added an extra layer to that. Add some physicality and some brutality between the two, with like the kendo sticks and the steel steps, which kind of in a way begat this whole thing. And Ilya Dragunov even hitting a massive coast to coast on Dijak with the stairs. Ilya Dragunov is just so fun to watch in the ring, and Dijak, aka Dominic Dijakovic, however you refer to him, but but both men are pretty fun to watch, and I think they worked really, really well against each other, and they kind of tried to put over more so on commentary how this match is so brutal and so vicious. It's to the point where it's a bit ad nauseum. Like, don't spend too much time. I get why they obviously gotta hype up the match and everything, but don't spend too much time just telling us how extreme and how personal, how brutal this match was supposed to be. Just let the guys in the ring do that. But I know they have to, because that's ultimately what commentary has to do. They have to hype up and build up the match and bring about a sense of world building beyond just as the guys in the ring, and giving that extra little bit of world building. But I think it was done a little too much here. But still, really solid match, really good match between the two. Then next up was the tag team match from NXT Tag Team Championships, as Gallus has defended the titles against the Creed brothers and actually retained with a little help from Ava Rain, or I think they're just calling her Ava now, which is weird. WWE, you and you're getting rid of first and or last names. So Ava came in and attacked Ivy Nile, and I guess continuing their feud with one another, and then ultimately get Hallis being able to pick up the win over the Creed brothers. It was a pretty solid match between the two sides. Of course, Gallus is here, represented by Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, and of course the Creed brothers, Brutus and Juliet, is putting on some good action between the two, with Gallus picking up the win. And I guess Gallus are going to hold on to the titles for a little bit. But nevertheless, congrats to Gallus on the title retention. But next up was the finals for the vacant NXT Women's Championship. And of course, Indy Hartwell won the title at Stand and Deliver, but because she was called up to Raw, she had to vacate the title. I hate when they do that. But nevertheless, the finals here was Tiffany Stratton versus Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Championship, with Tiffany Stratton becoming the brand new NXT Women's Champion. And this was a pretty good match between the two. Who the story going through was Lyra Valkyria tweaking her leg a little little bit. Pretty early on in the match, she was going for a leapfrog, and then Stratton and trying to go after the leg, and Valkyria trying to fight through the pain. But these two, who I think worked pretty well against each other. And congrats to Tiffany Stratton on winning the title, which a lot of people did want her to win, and she's been kind of being built up, especially not just throughout like the NXT 2.0 era. She's kind of getting some focus there, but especially more so for the NXT Women's Championship. So we'll have to see how she does as NXT Women's Champion. But nevertheless, congrats to her. And then finally, in the main event for the NXT Championship, it kind of a rematch from Stand and Deliver, as Carmelo Hayes is now the champion, defends against Bron Breakker. And this pretty good match. I don't know if I like this one as much as their match at Stand and Deliver, but I think this was still pretty solid. And a couple things of note, kind of the change in dynamic, not just because Carmelo Hayes is the one defending the NXT Championship against Bron Breakker, but the shifting character. So after Stand and Deliver, there was a double turn with Carmelo Hayes turning face and then Bron Breakker turning heel. Also seeing how that dynamic kind of playing out, seeing a bit more of a vicious side from Bron Breakker. Meanwhile, Carmelo Hayes having to use more of his craftiness and his ability in the ring and to overcome Bron Breakker, which he was ultimately able to do. It was a pretty solid match for the NXT Championship. Like I said, I don't think I liked it as much as the match at Stand and Deliver, but still really good. And congrats to Carmelo Hayes for retaining against Bron Breakker, which I think was the right choice. I do want Carmelo Hayes to hold on to it for a while. Carmelo Hayes was very, very talented in the ring. And rumors that he may be called up soon, but for now, Bron Breakker fully passing the baton off to Carmelo Hayes, for Carmelo Hayes to carry the NXT brand, I should say, and the NXT Championship, but more specifically the NXT brand and going forward. So congrats to Mr. Carmelo Hayes. But nevertheless, that is going to do it for this review. If I had to pick the strongest and weakest match, the strongest, honestly, it's probably between the North American Championship match and the NXT Championship match. Both really good matches, in my opinion. And if I had to pick the weakest match, I might have to go with the Rounds Rules match. I think pretty decent action between the two, and establishing kind of a team or a faction with Noam Dar and Jakara and Oro Mensah and Lash Legend, which is interesting. I think Lash Legend and Noam Dar have been affiliated with each other for a little bit, but I think breaking it up into rounds, which I know is the rules and everything, it did kind of drag it down a little bit. But I imagine that's probably a little bit difficult to do. Props to Noam Dar and Dragon Lee for trying to work their way around it. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the event, your thoughts on my review of the event. Did you like, dislike the event? Did you like, dislike my review of the event? And which one did you prefer her? Because like I mentioned at the beginning of this review, there was two events / pay-per-view / premium live events, however you refer to them, going on at the same time. This and Double or Nothing. Which did you prefer? For me, I think I might actually have to lean towards Battleground a little bit. I think, like, on the whole, it was stronger than Double or Nothing. And with Double or Nothing, I think there was some pretty good matches, but I think a bit more bottom heavy with the last two matches, both the Fatal 4-Way for the AEW World Championship and the Anarchy and Urea match being definitely the strongest points. But I feel like with Battleground, things were a little bit more consistent, but that's just me. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.